Good morning. This is Paula at the Giodone Library, and this is Paula's Picks. Well, Halloween is coming, so I'm going to read you a few Halloween stories. The first one is called On a Windy Night, and it is written by Nancy Rains Day and illustrated by George Bates. Read up a little. And I am reading this with permission from Abrams Children's Publishing. On a windy night. On a windy night, on a winding road, a boy walks home with a heavy load. On this winding road, on a windy night, clouds hide the moon, and in creeps fright. Through dark woods and down a hill, the boy walks fast and faster still. What's that? His heart flip-flops with fear. A whisper rustles in his ear. Crackety-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. The boy squeaks. Who? Do you mean me? Who else? Owl hoots back from his tree. The wind blows leaves that brush his face. The panicked boy begins to race. But even though he holds his ears, it's louder now. The voice he hears. Crackety-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. He leaves the spooky woods behind. But in the field, what does he find? Real skeletons. They dance in rows, clacking knees and crackling toes. Rough fingers whip his hands and cheek. He runs. But still he hears that awful shriek. Crackety-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. The boy runs blindly, fast, seems slow. Then suddenly he stubs his toe. He reaches out and feels a head. It doesn't move. It must be dead. The boy's feet barely touch the ground. Again, it comes, that deafening sound. Crackety-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. He runs so fast, he's breathing hard. He's almost there, he's in his yard. A shadow rubs against his legs. Don't hurt me, please, the scared boy begs. The hairy beast sits on his shoe, and then it makes a meek mew. When the clouds roll by, a full moon shines bright. The boy looks back and laughs outright. Now, dry corn stalks dance where the bones had been. The head's a pumpkin once again. So the boy scoops up his purring cat. They both go home, and that is that. It's all in his head, huh? Until they hear crickety-clack. See what it is? It's the little mouse. He's eating all the candy. That's a pretty creepy one, huh? So let me try one. That's a funnier one. And it's called The 13 Nights of Halloween by Guy Vasilovich. That was hard to say, and I said it wrong. Vasilovich. Guy Vasilovich. It's called The 13 Nights of Halloween, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to sing this one because if I try to read it, I won't do very good, and you'll see why. You'll recognize this song. On the first night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me a bright, shiny skeleton key. On the second night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me a two-headed snake and a bright, shiny skeleton key. Sound familiar? On the third night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 3 baseball bats, two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. On the fourth night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. I bet you know what that is, huh? On the fifth night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 5 singing skulls. And that's a little high for me. 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. On the 6th day of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. All of those. Now what? On the 7th night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 7 goblins gobbling, 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. On the 8th night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 8 marching mutants, 7 goblins gobbling, 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. Now what? On the 9th night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 9 werewolves waiting, 8 marching mutants, 7 goblins gobbling, 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. It's getting pretty crowded. On the 10th night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 10 demons dancing, 9 werewolves waiting, 8 marching mutants, 7 goblins gobbling, 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. We go on? Yes! On the 11th night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 11 witches witching, 10 demons dancing, 9 werewolves waiting, 8 marching mutants, 7 goblins gobbling, 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. And we're on 12. On the 12th night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 12 ghosts a-ghosting, 11 witches witching, 10 demons dancing, 9 werewolves waiting, 8 marching mutants, 7 goblins gobbling, 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake, and a bright, shiny skeleton key. But one more! On the 13th night of Halloween, my mummy gave to me 13 thirsty vampires, 12 ghosts a-ghosting, 11 witches waiting, 10 demons dancing, 9 werewolves waiting. Oh, I said someone wrong. 8 mutants marching, 7 goblins gobbling, 6 corpses caroling, 5 singing skulls, 4 icky eyeballs, 3 baseball bats, a two-headed snake. And what? And a bright, shiny skeleton key. There they are. And of course, You recognize that song? It was the 12 Days of Christmas, right? But that was the 13 Nights of Halloween. Now let me read you one in which I won't sing. And it is called Snowman at Halloween. Snowman? Snowman at Halloween. And it is by Carolyn Buhner. And the illustrations are done by Mark Buhner. Snowman at Halloween. One autumn day, the air turned cold and it began to snow. We went outside and made some snowmen standing in a row. My sister had a box of dress-ups out for Halloween, and soon all those snowmen were the scariest that we had ever seen. They dressed up the snowmen. We went off to a party and trick-or-treating too, then headed home in the dark when everything was through. As we passed our snowmen, I thought I saw one wink. Did they want to have fun too? Well, this is what I think. It's a dark and spooky night, but the snowmen aren't afraid. They'll follow one another in a Halloween parade. Gliding down the moonlit streets into the village square, beckoned by the twinkling lights and lanterns hanging there. They'll see lots of orange pumpkins heaped up in a pile. Every snowman gets to carve a very scary smile. They'll like playing all the games and fishing for a prize and have their faces painted by an artist in disguise. He's way back there painting faces. Some bite into caramel treats, which give them gooey grins. Others bob for apples in the apple bobbing bin. For a coin, the fortune teller sees a snowman's fate. Will it be warm sun or snowstorms? They'll anticipate. Maybe they will wander through a maze made out of hay. Twisting turns and dead ends make it fun all the way. Someone will be telling tales about a snowman's ghost. I'll bet spooky stories are what snowmen like the most. If their Halloween's like mine, they'll want to trick or treat and head home with their buckets filled with every kind of treats. There'll be a lot of giggling on their way back home from town, and it'll take a while before these snowmen settle down. That's what I thought they'd do, but I guess I'll never know because it warmed up overnight and melted down the snow. The dress-ups are in piles, but there's something in between. A snowman's message just for us. Happy Halloween! Maybe that's what snowmen do if we're lucky enough to have snow on that day. Let me read you one more. This one is actually pretty creepy. It's called The Bones of Fred McAfee. It's written by Eve Bunting, and it's illustrated by Kurt Cyrus. It's like one of my favorites. The Bones of Fred McAfee. There's a skeleton high in our sycamore tree, high as high can be. He was hung up there by my sister and me, high in our sycamore tree. His bones are white, and he's long and lean, there in our sycamore tree. His teeth are the biggest we've ever seen, grinning at Jessie and me. We brought him home from the harvest fair and named him Fred McAfee. He looked so scary dangling there, high in our sycamore tree. He isn't real, but it's hard to tell. He's plastic head to toe, but all of his bones are joined so well, no one would ever know. At night, when the wind howls overhead with ghoulish, ghastly glee, our skeleton dances the dance of the dead there in our sycamore tree. We'd like to take a peek out back, but who knows what we'd see. We hear those bones go clickety-clack, the bones of Fred McAfee. Our old dog Sam once snapped at flies around our sycamore tree. Now Sam stays home and the flies don't rise. It's such a mystery. Our rooster used to crow all day up in our sycamore tree. Now the rooster's gone and the hens won't lay since we got Fred McAfee. A great horned owl with yellow eyes sits in our sycamore tree. When we look up, those gleaming eyes are all that we can see. We'll let Fred hang till Halloween. He won't come down before. We'll hide him where he can't be seen till Halloween comes once more. The dark is dropping like a cowl. There's no star to be seen. What's wrong with Sam? We hear him howl this night of Halloween. The morning's bright and filled with light, but where is Fred McAfee? His bones have vanished in the night, gone from the sycamore tree. Did someone come by the dead of night with only the owl to see? Did someone come by the pale moonlight and cut down Fred McAfee? There's a mound below that's long and lean beneath our sycamore tree. And the mound is brown, not frosty green. We know what it might be. We know it's a grave out there on the slope beneath our sycamore tree. But who could it be who cut the rope that held up Fred McAfee? The grave sinks low, and we mark the spot with pebbles and shells from the sea. We hope that Fred will like it a lot and sleep contentedly. But when the wind howls overhead and shakes our sycamore tree, we hear them dancing the dance of the dead, the bones of Fred McAfee. Ooh, did you get a chill? That's a creepy book. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make a pine cone spider. So you need, of course, a pine cone, and you need pipe cleaners for legs. You can have all sorts of colors, and you need eyes. I have Google eyes, of course, but you can make eyes out of construction paper or flannel. And then if you want to make fangs or anything extra, you'll need like either paper or flannel or the foam paper to cut those into. Let me show you the ones I've made. There's the orange one. So of course I painted it. Here's the black one. I painted the pine cone for that one too. But this one, you don't necessarily have to paint it because here's just a brown pine cone. Came out pretty good. So there's the spiders that you can make. So first of all, you want to pick a pine cone where it's open because you're going to have to put the pipe cleaner legs down there. So you want spaces to put them in. If you have a pine cone that happens to be not as much opening as that, and they're close together, you can also break these off to put your legs in. I also would suggest using like the really fat pipe cleaners rather than the thin ones. I had an easier time getting the fat ones in. The thin ones were a little hard. I almost had to do it, but the thin ones do make the spider look like he's got long, spindly legs. So if you want that effect, use the skinny ones. And you need 4 pipe cleaners. I dropped one here. So the first thing you want to do is his face. After you pick your pine cone, you want to glue, of course, glue on the eyes. It's easier to do this without the legs. Oops, I don't think you can see that. There, glue on eyes, glue on his fangs if you want fangs or anything else. So glue that first on his face, and then you take the 4 pipe cleaners. I kind of figure out where the middle is, and then you want to find one of those openings, and I'm sticking these in. Aha! Da, 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 da. And then, of course, you're going to do that. Stick all the pipe cleaners in on the bottom of the spider. Because see there, then you just have to bend his legs. Bend his legs. I'm kind of breaking a few of these by doing this, but that's okay. Then, oops, I pulled that one too far. I had it a little bit too far on the other side instead of this side, so I want to make the legs even. And then you can bend him here like this so that he has little feet. Then take some glue, and where he's in, once you've got the legs the way you want them and which ones you want long and which ones you want shorter, then just pour a bunch of glue down there, and that will help to hold the legs in. And then you have your spiders. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And next week, I will be showing you how to make a candy corn, candy pumpkin catapult on Steam Stories. See you next week.